Welcome back, boys and girls. Let's keep those silly turkeys away and let's get back to our lesson. Welcome back, boys and girls. Listen to these words and listen for the sound that's in the medial position. Hook, wood, foot. What sound do you hear in the medial or middle position? Hook, wood, foot. We hear the sound in the middle of each of these words. Let's take a look at these words up on the board. Hook, wood, foot. What do you see that's making the sound in the middle of each of these words? We see O that is making the sound. All of these words have the sound in the middle, and O are the middle letters in all of these words. O must be the letters making the sound. How many sounds do we hear? We just hear one sound, but how many letters are making that sound? There are 2 letters, so O must be a digraph. A digraph is 2 letters that come together to make one sound. Is digraph OO a vowel digraph or a consonant digraph? Digraph OO is a vowel digraph because it makes a vowel sound and it's made up of vowels. How do we code digraphs? That's right, we underline them. Now listen to these words and listen for the sound in the medial or middle position. Scoot, room, boot. What sound do you hear in the medial position? Scoot, room, boot. We hear the oo sound in the middle of each of these words. Let's take a look at them. Scoot, room, boot. What 2 letters do you see might be making the oo sound? We see digraph OO is making the oo sound in each of these words. Digraph OO can make a second sound. And since digraph OO can make 2 sounds, when you see a word that contains digraph OO, you should try one sound and see if it makes a word. If it doesn't sound quite right, try the other sound. Do these words need any other coding? Look carefully. Yes, we need to put a K back on the letter C to remind us that it makes the K sound in scoot. Good job, boys and girls. So today we've learned about another new digraph. So when we see this card, we're going to say digraph OO. And to remind us what sound digraph OO makes, we have the keyword hook. So when we see this card, we're going to go hook, It almost sounds like our stomach hurts when we make that sound. Hook, And to remind us of the other sound that digraph OO makes, we have the keyword tooth. So when we see this card, we're going to go tooth, ooh. kind of like when we see something we like, we go, ooh. That's what this sound sounds like. We also have a new sight word for today. We have the sight word school. Remember, sight words are words that do not always follow the rules, so we need to have them memorized. So when we see this word in our reading or in our writing, we're going to circle it because it's a word that we know. Great job, boys and girls! Now let's practice coding some words up on the board. Let's go ahead and let's start with this phrase. Let's start with the first word in the phrase. What do we see at the beginning of this word? There is digraph TH, so we're going to go ahead and underline it. And in this word, digraph TH is going to be making its unvoiced sound, so we're going to leave it alone. Now, what else needs to be coded? That's right, we have digraph EE, so let's underline it. And in digraph EE, we're going to cross out the second E because it only makes one sound, and we're going to put a macron over the first E because it's making its long sound. Now let's look at the next word. Look at the end of the word. Yes, we see suffix S, so let's put a box around it. And I know when suffix S comes after the letter N, it's going to make its voiced sound. So I'm going to put a voice line through it to remind myself that it's going to go Z, Z, Z. Now, is there any other obvious coding in this word? I see the letter C, so I'm going to put a K back to remind myself that it makes the K sound. And I have double consonants, so I'm going to cross out the second C to remind myself that it is silent. Any other codings? No, I think that's it for the obvious codings. So now let's look at our vowels and consonants. I see a vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel pattern. So I'm going to draw my syllable divider line, and I'm going to put an accent mark after the first syllable. Now let's code our first syllable. We see a vowel followed by a consonant, so we're going to code it with a breve. Now let's look at our second syllable. Look carefully. Yes, that's digraph OO, so we're going to go ahead and underline it. Now, let me look again at my accent mark. I know that when a word ends with OON, the accent is going to go over at the end of the word. So, when we read it, we'll make sure that this is correct. Let's read this phrase. 3 raccoons. Raccoons. Yes, I say that last part a little bit louder and higher than the first part, so I'm going to leave my accent mark there. Now let's look at our next phrase. We're going to start with our first word in the phrase. What do you see at the end of that word? We see suffix ed. And we know that when suffix ed comes after a voiced sound, it's going to make the D sound. The letter L goes O, which is a voiced sound. So that means suffix ed is going to go D. Now let's finish coding this word. Do we see any obvious or easy coding? Yes, we have double consonants. So we're going to cross out the second one to remind us that it's silent. Now let's look for our vowels. We see a vowel followed by a consonant, so we're going to code it with a breve. Now let's look at our next word. Look carefully, I see two vowels. Yes, we see a sneaky E at the end of the word, so let's cross it out. And sneaky E jumps over to make the vowel long, to make the vowel say its name. So let's code it with a macron. Now let's look at our next word. Look at the end of the word. There's suffix S again. And as I said before, when suffix S comes after the letter N, it's going to make its voiced sound. So let's put a voice line through it to remind us that it's going to go Z, Z, Z. Is there any other obvious or easy codings? Yes, we have double consonants. So we're going to cross out one of those to remind us that it's silent. Now let's look at our vowels and consonants. I see a vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel pattern. So let's draw our syllable divider line and let's code our first syllable. We have a vowel followed by a consonant, so we're going to code it with a breve. Now let's look at our next syllable. Yes, we have digraph OO. So let's draw a line under it. There it goes. Now that accent mark, it's on the first syllable, which is what we usually do. But I've learned that when I see OON, the accent mark is going to go at the end of the word. Now let's go ahead and let's read this word. Filled 9 balloons. That doesn't sound quite right. Balloons. That doesn't sound quite right. I believe when I say that word, I say balloons. So that means that the vowel A is making an sound. So I should change this breve to a schwa to remind myself that it's making the sound, and I read the word balloons. Great job today, boys and girls. Keep an eye out for that digraph OO, just like we learned about today. We'll see you later. Bye.